Hey guys, it's Odessa Sam here at Aquava Academy, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you are notified when I have new content here. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to talk about encoding. What is encoding? So encoding is the ability to transfer phonemes, which are sounds, into print. So we're spelling. When you're listening to the sounds, you're going to think about the letters that correspond with those sounds, and those are the letters that you're going to put together to spell the word. Oftentimes, I find that parents, teachers, we focus so much on decoding, which is the ability to read words, and we somehow neglect the part about spelling. Decoding is great, but we also need to be able to spell. Children need to learn those patterns, those rules as it relates to phonics, which is the purpose of today's video. So I have 3 tips for you that you can use to help with encoding. So let's get right into that. Tip number 1, you want to make sure that you are explicitly teaching the strategy, what it is that you want your students to learn. No different than you would explicitly teach reading strategies. So for example, I teach kindergarten, and what I want to do is say the word to my students. So let's use the word, we'll just go with a CVC word, right? Cat. Now, I'm going to explicitly model this so that way they can see what that looks like, so they can go ahead and do that when they're doing independent writing. Or this is something that we can also do during guided writing. So cat. Okay, the word is cat. What's that first sound that you're hearing? Cat. Oh, I hear a k. And I know the letter that goes with that sound is letter C. Or I will just ask my students, what letter goes with that sound? C. Sometimes you may get some students that will say K, and that's okay because this is kindergarten and K and C do make the same sound. Now, we wouldn't expect a first or a second grader to provide a K for that word. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. Cat. Ooh, I hear an A. What letter goes with that sound? They'll tell me A. I'm going to go ahead and write that. Now I'm going to stretch this word one more time to see if I hear any sounds. Cat. Ooh, I heard a T at the end. What letter goes with that? And now I'm going to write that letter. So now I've explicitly modeled for my students how to sound out the words. I'm listening to the sounds, and I'm writing the letters that correspond with each phoneme in the word. And that's how I put it together. So the whole point of that particular strategy is to make the connection between the sound that we hear and the letter that goes with that sound. Aside from spelling the words, you can also just do it with just sounds and the letters that correspond, and then eventually transition into CVC words. So for example, with my kinders, I would like to do model the sound, explicitly model that. So, all right, boys and girls, I'll make the sound What letter goes with that sound? And then I will write the word. So now they're first hearing it. They're making the connection with the letter that corresponds to that sound. And then I will write the letter. So they're seeing what that letter formation looks like. And I'll do a few like that, and then I'll ask them to do some independently. I'll go ahead and say a few sounds. They'll write it on their dry erase board. They'll show their board, and then I'll see, and then I can just, make some mental notes of who's going to need a bit more support with that, or when it comes to spelling the words. So tip number 2, you want to make sure that you review what your students have learned previously. Always spend time reviewing. It's great to introduce new concepts, new strategies, new skills, but we also want to go back and review what they've previously learned so that way they don't forget it. Because what good does it do if you teach it to them, you never revisit it, they're not going to retain that information. tip number 3, you can use sound boxes. And I really love the sound boxes because it really draws attention to how many sounds are in a word. So for kindergarten, I would definitely start out with CVC words, which are consonant, vowel, consonant. And this is great too if you're focusing a lot on the word family or the rhyme, which can be at, am, ag, ought, ought. Those are your word families or your rhyme, the ending part of the word. So when you do the sound boxes, now they know, if you're doing CVC, that this word has 3 letters that I need to write. So you can explicitly model this for your students. So we can do this again with the example I used earlier for cat. The first sound that I hear is k. If you have counters, you can put counters in the box, so they can slide a counter in the box. K, at. Now you're going to do the second counter, sliding it into the box. T. Third counter, you slide it into the box. Now let's go ahead and write the letters that correspond with those sounds. K. What letter goes with that sound? They're going to write it in that box. Move over to the next box, and so on until they've completed that. And a bit more advanced, maybe for like first graders, you can do this with digraphs. With your digraphs, they'll need to know that it's 2 letters going into one box, and then you have your vowel in the middle and then your consonant at the end. So in the next clip, I'm going to show you an example of tip number 3 using the sound box.
Ugh.
All right, so let's blend those sounds together. Ugh. All right, so let's wipe it, and we're gonna listen for the next sounds. I want to do and. All right, let's check. Let's take a look at. Listen to my sound. And what's your last sound? So please write the letter that goes with that sound. All right, thank you. Og. So think about your first sound and your last sound. What's your last sound in og? Alright guys, so that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed the tips that I've shared with you regarding encoding. If you have any comments, questions, please leave them down below and I will be sure to answer them. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, set that notification bell.